So, yo everyone, this is the Cuts in Conversations podcast by Royale. We got Leon Bradshaw here, the main man,
My
the
guy.
top G.
Thanks for having me, bro. I like that name. Cuts in Conversations.
Cuts in Conversations, bro.
Sounds like a
Um,
household name in the making.
yeah. So, y'all know already what this is about. Many of you don't have access to guys like this with information that they have. The golden information that they give me has helped me in my life achieve so much, and it's going to help me achieve much more. But I just wanted to bring that information closer to you, um, straight from the horse's mouth. So yeah, let's do it. Liam Bradshaw, this is my guy. He was my first call out client, and he's going to share some of his successes, some of his failures, some of his lessons with us. Yeah, so why don't you tell us who you are and what you do, bro?
100%, bro. Yo, man has me feeling nostalgic. I think, about 2-3 years ago now when you first started cutting my hair. When I actually first moved to Cape Town, when I started making some money, which in the time was in e-commerce. But to introduce myself, my name is Liam Bradshaw, 21 years old, born and raised in South Africa, in Somerset West, then moved to Cape Town. And since very young, I was very obsessed with, to encapsulate what I was obsessed with, could be described as maximizing life. I was very fortunate to always have all of my basic needs met, but definitely didn't grow up with an abundance of money. So from very young, I was very focused on how can I make a bit of money. And that led me going down the path of acquiring a lot of different skills, from building websites to editing videos to learning Facebook ads to getting into high ticket sales and selling for companies in Europe, to then building out my own e-commerce stores, which has now evolved into brands, which I'm very proud of, that I'm actively working day in and day out to scale and build to the largest capacity as possible, so that in the next couple of years I can exit them for multiple millions of dollars, which is the trajectory that we're currently on, and it's gonna come into fruition within the next 12 to 24 months. So that's where we are right now. I've tried a lot, I failed a lot, but ultimately I've always had a dream, I've always had a North Star, and it's led me to getting a lot of skills and a lot of experience, and ultimately make a lot of money in the process as well, especially for my age. So very grateful to be here, but that's where we're at now.
That's fire. Bro, you see your age. Can you tell them how old you are quickly?
Yeah, 21.
21, bro. That's fire. Did you always think you were gonna land up in e-commerce, bro? Like doing the brands and stuff?
Yeah, so I'm in e-commerce now, building brands. Got started in with the drop shipping model. So literally finding a product online, seeing can I source it from China, building a website around it. If I got sales, would then source it from the Chinese supplier and ship it directly to the customer's warehouse. That's how I got started. I mean, not to the customer's warehouse, sorry, to the customer's location. And I got started with that by my friend actually convincing me to get into the business model. I didn't believe it in the beginning. I knew about it, I'd done a bit of research, but I thought it was too saturated, it would be too difficult, which back then was obviously a limiting belief. So eventually he convinced me. We tried stuff, we failed. We probably tried to run up maybe 15 different brands, aka just products, before one eventually clicked and succeeded. And we literally set it up, and overnight we did $1,000 in sales. And I was literally in school, woke up, looked at my phone, did $1,000 in sales, took a shower and went to school. Walked in there feeling like the man. I mean, I made what the teachers
Feeling
make
like a top G.
in 24 hours. I made what the teachers make in a month, So since then, I wouldn't say I knew that I wanted to do e-commerce, but I knew like, bro, I need to make money online. I got that self-belief.
Yeah.
And that self-belief then channeled into everything else that I was doing and trying, because the foundation was it's possible. That's obviously a struggle that a lot of people have, is like they don't even quite believe that, for one, it's possible, or for two, that they can achieve it. So their whole intention from the beginning, even if it's subconscious, is failure. It's like fucking around and just seeing.
Yeah.
But that's the wrong mindset to have, because then you're effectively like, that foundation is going to manifest into all of the actions that you take, which will probably be half-assed effort and not conviction in that it's going to work. Because if you're convicted that it's going to work, if you know you can make $1 million tomorrow, or if you know you can make $1,000 in sales overnight, you're going to be working like an animal because you know that it's possible, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I know I just have to set up a store and tomorrow I can make $1,000.
So,
If I'm broke now and I have that 100% conviction, I'm not going to be sitting here. I'm going to be going downstairs right now. Dub, don't come cut my hair. I've got work to do.
yeah,
And I'm going to make $1,000. But if I don't even quite know, I'm going to half-ass the whole process from the beginning, you know?
yeah. That's fire, bro. So that limiting beliefs that you had in the beginning, that was more in the back of your mind, right? Like a psychological thing.
Yeah, well,
Right.
it's subconscious. You know?
Subconscious.
The
So
reality of it.
how did you then get rid of it, bro?
Yeah. I mean, the reality of it, especially for a lot of people in South Africa, is that all that they see is poverty. They've grown up with their parents speaking about how they're struggling with money. Their friends are broke. Their aunties and uncles are broke. Everyone's broke, you know, so it's the only reality that they know. So it's deeply ingrained into their subconscious mind to think like a broke person. And that's obviously going to just manifest into your reality. So how did I overcome the limiting beliefs? For one, it was just not accepting that reality. And then for two, it was trying shit with an open mind and honestly seeing it for myself, if it works or if it doesn't. And then with time, you kind of just start to break down these subconscious beliefs. I've done a lot of internal work. I mean, we can go very deep with this. Like, I've specifically identified and worked with specialists to identify my subconscious limiting beliefs and remove them through things like hypnosis and meditation, which obviously is a bit extensive and not everyone is going to do it that way. I would recommend doing it that way if you do have the resources to pay for a professional. But honestly, yeah, it's just about accepting that you're also responsible for changing those limiting beliefs. Just because you grew up with those limiting beliefs being imposed on you doesn't mean that you have to accept that you have those beliefs.
Yeah.
Identify them and then do your best to change them.
Amazing, bro. I thought about this thing, bro, and I posted a video about it. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. I posted a video about it the other day, and I was telling the people, look, I'm not a very religious guy, but I do believe in God, right? And God, God is the creator, and in Scripture it tells us that He created us in His image. So if He created us in His image, then that means we can create, which means we can create our own reality at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Does that kind of like help help with you know the limiting beliefs and everything? Does that kind of like add to believing that you can do something more than you know just a normal societal way of living?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I was saying, it comes down to actually believing that you can alter your reality, which some people will do it through prayer, some people do it through meditation, some people will do it through simply changing their frequency.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk down or, you know, try and change people's beliefs. If you believe in God, great. But what you will find is that, especially if you start reading the Bible, reading other scriptures, and looking into just other pieces of knowledge around how the world works, you'll find that a lot of the stuff overlaps anyway. And if you interpret certain scriptures in the Bible, they can be interpreted in other ways completely. Personally, I believe that we all have a piece of God inside of us and that we're all a part of one big happening. But through that, it does give us very similar powers to things that are mentioned in the Bible, you know. And just having that belief is the same as, you know, having faith in God in a biblical sense, and then that being able to alter your reality. So, I mean, the way that I truly believe that reality is altered is through a simple sequence. And I'll explain the sequence. I'll say the sequence and I'll explain more in depth each point. But it starts with your frequency. Your frequency is ultimately like how you feel. Your frequency will then help you tap into, okay, the fundamentals of this is that there are infinite realities which exist. Realities where, you know, you and I have $1 billion, realities where you and I have $1. Reality where we live in India, reality where we live in South Africa. There's many theories that back up or there's many, this theory is backed up by many things. And a lot of the great thinkers of the world have believed in this theory too. So infinite realities, the concept of infinity. When you believe in that, then frequency is how you feel. Your frequency then helps you tap into a version of yourself that is on the frequency of your desired reality, which will then translate to your intuition. Your intuition, a lot of people speak about intuition, but it's ultimately also then, like a mental drop in your mind, like something that you feel compelled to do, or almost like something that you couldn't have known or felt to do, which was the right thing.
Yeah.
Then if you trust your intuition, it then leads to different mental nudges. Your mental nudges is what it actually, like when you feel like, okay, yeah, mentally I should actually do this. I should walk down and I should go to the gym right now, or I should say yes to this business opportunity, whatever. Then the mental nudges actually lead to the action. You actually do say yes to the business opportunity. Then the action leads to reality, and that is the chain of how you control your reality. But it all starts with frequency. So, for example, you want to get rich, you need to tap into the frequency of someone that's rich. So how do you do that? You act like a rich person. You're abundant. You're not scarce. You are embodying the traits of someone that is rich. Then you feel rich, and it leads to your intuition, then it leads to mental nudges, then it leads to action, and ultimately then that reality materializes before your eyes.
That's gold, bro. That's pause. That's gold. I love that.
That's the single most powerful thing that I've realized.
I love that, bro. I definitely feel like I'm gonna walk away from this more confident in tapping into a higher frequency, bro.
Exactly.
Because the way I understand it, when you spoke now, there are multiple realities, and your feelings is a frequency basically.
Yep.
That helps you tap into a specific reality.
Yep.
And when you tap into that reality, it's gonna bring up instincts, and the instincts is gonna get you to materializing that reality here.
And the way to make it a little bit more easier to understand as well, without sounding so woo-woo and metaphysical, is like, they are infinite realities, because there's infinite choices that I can make right now which will lead to a different reality.
Yes.
I could push you off this building right now and you fucking die. Of course, I'm not going to do that, but that is a reality, So everyone's trying to change reality without realizing that reality is an effect. And people are trying to change an effect by changing an effect, whereas you have to change the effect by changing the cause, which is your actions. But to get your actions, you have to reverse engineer it to your frequency.
Yes.
Change reality, which is an effect, by changing the cause, not by changing the effect itself.
That's boss, bro. So, bro, have you within this journey of like, changing your reality, tapping into a higher frequency, has there been any doubt in the middle of the process ever?
I mean, honestly, I've tried to like filter out any times that I felt doubt, because I try not to resonate with those things, Like if doubt does arise momentarily, I might acknowledge it, but then I'll push it to the side pretty quickly,
Okay.
So it's hard for me to even like think about times like that. But I think there's definitely been doubts potentially in the short term, but usually in the long term, no. Like I always know that long term things are gonna work out in my favor, because I'm sure even if you've progressed very incrementally in your life and your career, you'll be able to look back and see things that like things didn't actually turn out too bad. Like even if you're nowhere near to where you want to be in life, like you probably can see that you're somewhat on the way there. Even if you look back and maybe objectively you're further behind, you'll probably have a bunch of lessons that you've learned, which are now building the foundation for you to get even further. So I think it's very easy to tap into having full conviction in the long run, but maybe in the short term, you're like, maybe I won't hit my goal for this month. That's some doubts that will pop up. But also when you have those thoughts, it's about kind of not really giving that doubt too much importance, because you shouldn't be too attached to your goals anyway. You should just accept that they've already happened and let reality catch up.
Amazing. Amazing, bro.
And like I was saying to you, bro, like I've been feeling a bit stressed the past 2 days.
Yeah,
And I was just thinking, bro, I've just been like taking shit way too serious, you know?
yeah,
And that's a terrible frequency to be operating out of,
yeah.
because then you can't actually tap into your subconscious mind, because you're in a state of fight or flight and urgency.
Mm,
And that's just straight critical thinking.
mm,
So everything's like, you can't really allow yourself to just flow, you know,
yeah,
which is kind of needed. You want to have some fun hitting your goals too, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Why do you want to arrive to your goal being stressed?
yeah,
No, I'd rather
yeah.
take longer and arrive to my goal with enjoyment.
Yes. Amazing, bro. Bro, do you think I heard you say like now you should also have like fun on the way to achieving your goals, right?
Yeah.
Some people believe that having fun can be a distraction as well. Is there a difference between having fun and being distracted at the same time? Is there a difference or
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to determine like what is fun, and still making sure that that fun is in alignment with your highest self, you know.
yeah,
Like, for example, what frequency you're operating in when you're having that fun. Is it,
mm,
going to the club and getting super drunk and, pissing off your partner and, losing friends and wasting money that you then feel bad about, and then you're in a frequency of shame and guilt afterwards, which is obviously going to lead to more negativity in your life.
yeah,
That's completely different, you know.
yeah,
So I think it's just identifying, like, is this frame of mind and is this fun that I'm actually having, like, in alignment with my higher self?
yeah,
Not in the sense of you need to be extremely disciplined and never drink or never party and just be locked in like a robot, and having fun is now like super, I don't know, clean, or
yeah,
I don't know what the word would be for that, but more just like, how does this make me feel, you know?
yeah,
For example, like I could go now to a club with my closest friends, or maybe my brother, my family, and we're celebrating something meaningful. I'm gonna have a lot of fun, even though drinking and alcohol
amazing,
might be involved. But I'm gonna come back of it the next day feeling better, feeling like rested, feeling relieved, feeling like I've got love in my life, like overall just elevated. And then
yeah,
that's gonna translate into every other aspect of my life moving forward from there.
yeah,
So it's like, yeah, I mean, know when you need to maybe sit down and work a bit more, know when you need
yeah,
to have fun, but just make sure that the fun that you're having is beneficial to your state of being, you know?
yeah. Amazing, bro. Amazing. Bro, like so I'm 30 years old now, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm only like learning now all this information and how to tap into the highest frequency of who I want to be. Um, but I know there's other people out there. You know, the normal thing that people would say, this 21-year-olds out there, they driving Ferraris. You know, they driving Lambos. They driving like Range Rovers and stuff, and they're making all this money. But then people will say they will have, there's a stigma attached to young people making money, right? So they will say, oh no, it's daddy and mommy money.
Yeah, yeah,
It's daddy and mommy money. they their dad and their mom is the reason why they can do that. It's like old money and all this stuff. Like, what would you say to people who believe that? Because obviously you started this journey by yourself, you made this money by yourself, and then you included like people later on to, like, because you have to like have a team and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
But like, what would you say to people that believe that every 21-year-old that's making money, living this lifestyle, it's mommy and daddy money? Like, what would you say to them? Like, because I know you personally, I know that it's not daddy and mommy money,
Yeah, yeah.
but then what would you say to the people who just believe that it's daddy and mommy money and believe that they can't do it without daddy and mommy money? That's the thing that I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that I can say, man. I think, for one, if you do believe that, obviously you're holding yourself back,
Yeah,
because you're just, pushing the responsibility that you might have for yourself onto the fact that these people only did it with mommy and daddy money. So you're not really taking responsibility for your own situation, because even if it is mommy and daddy money, why should that affect you from doing something with your life, you know?
yeah,
Another thing is, most of the guys that are in this stage at such a young period in life have been in the game for a while, you know? For
mm,
one, they've put in the time, for two, they're in a much different industry than traditional ways of making money. I mean, there's so many more opportunities now than there were, even 2-3 years ago. I've been in this game since I was 15 years old. I've been doing this shit for 6-7 years. Like, if I started when I was 20 and I was 27, that's 7 years. It wouldn't be that unbelievable if I, was making good money at 27. So I've just been putting in the time. That's a lot of things. That's one of the things that people don't realize is like some people just got started earlier as well. Got started earlier. Opportunities are completely different. So yeah, it's just simple thing of like you got to get over that limiting belief.
Yeah.
And why don't you do some shit so that your kids will be one day driving in these Range Rovers from your money?
I like that, bro. That is,
Even if it is mommy and daddy's money,
yeah,
use the fucking inspiration from that to make sure your kids have mommy and daddy money.
yeah, yeah. You think, because some people think that it's too late for them. Like if they've reached over the age of 30 or close to 40, they think, it's too late for me to achieve the dreams that I wanted for my life.
Yeah.
Like, is that something that is like a super false belief that they believe in?
I mean, I think people really underestimate what they can achieve in a very short amount of time. And I understand, I don't want to be ignorant, people get to a certain age, have bills to pay, and trying to pursue something else is risky. But you know what's more risky? Not fucking trying at all, because then it's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah.
So might be risky because you might you know what I'm trying to say. So
I get you. That's
even if
fire,
you're just
bro.
assigning 1 hour a day to pursue your goals, pursue your dreams, try change something for yourself. Like, rather try than not try at all. Is all I'm saying. Like when you're laying on your deathbed, are you going to be pissed off that you tried? No. You're going to be pissed off that you accepted a reality which which fucked up your life, fucked up your kid's life, gave unnecessary stress, and then boom, your one life that you could have changed is gone. So sometimes you gotta be harsh with people as well, bro. Like, I know it's not that simple, but at the end of the day, it's about taking responsibility. All of these things are about it's too late, or it's mommy and daddy's money, or this shit's not real. It's all you just pushing the responsibility onto an imaginary limitation instead of taking the responsibility on yourself. What if it did work out? Ask yourself that question. How would life be different? Think about the things that you want to achieve, why you actually would want to make more money. Maybe you are actually completely happy with the life that you're living. You've just got false desires that you've been placing into your mind from scrolling on social media and seeing these kids with these cars, being positioned in a desirable way. Maybe you don't even want that. So sit with yourself and actually think, okay, what do I want to achieve? Maybe it is just an extra, 10, 20,000 rand a month. Then boom, figure out how you can just do that and you'll be happy. But it all comes down to being aligned with your goals as well. So many people are trying to chase shit that weren't even their desires in the first place.
Yeah, I get that, bro. That makes me think a lot, bro, about my own desires and what I want and how far I want to go.
Yeah.
How high do I actually want to go?
Yeah.
Because like here's my question, bro. Like, is there ever an end? Is there ever like, okay, this is it. It's done now. We finish. We did enough. We're gonna close the doors now in the chapter.
Yeah.
We can now retire and stop doing so much.
I mean, I don't think I'm the most qualified person to answer that question because I haven't reached where I want to get yet, just based off of my desired reality and the life that I want.
Okay.
I'm well on my way, but I think it's subjective, man. I think it also depends where your source of motivation comes from. A lot of people really feed on just that growth, validation, flexing, more money, and then that comes down. If they've been basing their validation on that for all this time, then it's all that they know. A lot of people love playing the game as well, so they just keep going. It becomes a game. I think, especially if you're thinking very big, it becomes not about the money very quickly. You'll quickly pass the point where more money won't really change your style of life or your quality of life, at least. I think we definitely need to add some texture now, huh? What do you think?
We're gonna 100%, bro. We're not taking any length. We're just gonna take like we're gonna put in texture and that's it.
Sweet, yeah.
I'm just gonna blend a little bit more here
Nice.
and then put the texture in and then we're sort of gonna do the blade work afterwards. Yeah, bro. Golden. Golden, 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 bro. Bro, you know what, no? I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was like just a little younger than you and moving into like 25, 26, I was so very, very much like afraid of failure, bro. Like failure was my biggest fear that I've ever had in my life. Bro, obviously you're scared of snakes and scared of spiders and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like my biggest fear ever was failing. Because if I fail, it's like in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I couldn't do it, you know?
Yeah.
But like what would you say to someone who has that fear, bro? Like failure, like was there ever a failure that you've experienced in your life? Were there like a couple of failures that you experienced in your life? What were they and how did you overcome them? And how does that experience and that knowledge help the next person like me?
Yeah, for sure. I think
sorry, because even now, me doing this, I'm doing this podcast, I'm building my brand online, I'm trying things. Next, I need to release my ebook. I'm still fearful that it's not gonna work out because like I came all the way from the Cape Flats, hard life, moved to the city where rent is like super expensive, but I'm doing it because of the knowledge that I have that moving out into a better area helps you towards your success. So I did it.
Yeah.
I went to go and experience it for myself. Now I'm here and I'm doing all these things, but I'm still afraid of the failure, you know? So like, what would you say is some of the failures that you've experienced and how does that help the next person, you know?
100%. Well, I mean, why is it so? If you do fail, what's so bad about that? I'm asking you, what's so bad about it if you launch your book and it fails?
For me, it would make me feel less confident in myself that I would be able to do something more.
But why does it have to be perfect first time? Wouldn't it just give you more data, more lessons, more learnings to make the next one perfect?
Okay.
Or maybe like that wasn't even the right path for you, then you know.
Yeah.
But you only figure that out when you take the shots and you take the steps, you know?
Amazing.
Just ask yourself that question, like, why does it actually matter if it fails?
Amazing.
It doesn't really fucking matter, you know? In this life, you have infinite shots. And there's a theory that backs this. Of course, this theory is limited by time, but there's a thing called the infinite typing monkey theory or something. And what it's basically saying, essentially, is if a monkey's typing for 24/7, for infinity, it will eventually type every single letter, every single word, every single everything in the entire world, you know, that's possible, any sequence, everything. So it's kind of the same thing in life, except it is kind of limited by time, which should be motivated to move fast and test shit, because at the end of the day, you need to fail enough times to even deserve to win. You know, the person that's ahead of you has failed, you know, 100 times more than you even tried. So take some pressure off yourself. It doesn't need to be perfect first time. And it's actually potentially better if it's not, you know. I mean, if it's perfect first time, great, amazing. But why does it have to be perfect first time? Rather accept that it probably won't be perfect first time, and you should probably get on with it and start failing so that you can get lessons so you can make it perfect. The longer you take to actually release it or do that thing, the more likelihood it won't happen, because time is finite. We will run out of time. The monkey typing, it will get everything right within time. We're limited by time, so let's fucking get to work. You know?
I like that, bro. Like everything that you explaining to me is like very like opposite of like what like people normally would tell you when they give you advice, because like people would normally say, like elderly people, they will say, oh, you need to take your time, it's slow, and you need to take your time doing the thing. But then now I'm realizing also, the faster you can fail, the quicker you can get to
Yeah.
the win.
And
Yeah.
of course, it's, it is balance. I think there's a very big difference between moving with speed
Yeah.
and moving in a state of feeling rushed.
Okay.
If you're rushing shit, it's sloppy, you didn't really give it your all.
Yeah.
If you're moving with speed, it just means that you're actually fulfilling the time with the work,
Yeah.
you've got stuff to do, so you're sitting and you're getting it done. One action to the next action is very quick.
Yeah.
Rushing means you're not even completing those actions properly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think also if you do have fears, all of that stuff is realizations that can help you.
Yeah.
But you should also try and just meditate on where those fears actually came from, because if you can identify the source, maybe it was, when you were young, you did a painting, or you showed your dad something, and he said it was shit, and that really stuck with you. When you're young, you're very malleable. So again, these are things that are deep in your subconscious that you might not even be realizing is holding you back.
Yeah.
But if you meditate on it, you think about, oh, I'm scared of XYZ. Why am I scared of XYZ?
Yeah.
Because I'm scared of rejection. Why am I scared of rejection? Who's rejected me in the past?
Mm.
Oh, my dad rejected me when I was young. Oh shit, it's probably stemming from that. Of course, you might need to ask more questions now, but actually ask yourself these questions. Like, sit with yourself and think, and you'll come to a lot of conclusions. When you can identify the source, then you can start to change it, You can start to think about it more, write it down, let it go, forgive yourself for that time when you beat yourself up so much because your dad didn't like your shit. Example.
Yeah.
And then boom, you've removed it from your subconscious mind.
Amazing, bro. Amazing. I like that, bro. Yeah, bro. Thank you for that golden information that you just shared with all of us.
100%, bro.
Bro, I have people on that follow me on my accounts that are very expressive of wanting to better their lives, and I don't know what their backgrounds are, bro. I don't know what their backgrounds are. I don't know if they are young professionals, if they want to be, basketball players or soccer players, or the next president, or whatever the case may be. But to anyone trying to better their life and attain freedom and attain their dreams and their goals, what is your highest level of advice to that person starting from this point moving forward?
Yeah, I think we've covered it, but I can try and summarize it into a few actionable steps.
Yeah.
I would first obviously get clear on what it is you actually want. If you don't have clarity, it leads to inaction because you don't know, should you be going in this direction and that direction. Like, you have nothing to base off what you're actually doing. Maybe your goal isn't as big as you originally thought. Maybe you don't actually want the fast cars. Maybe you really do want the fast cars. That's fine, but get really clear on it first.
Yeah.
Then you need to envision your higher self, like we said. What are their attributes? What do they do? How do they act? How do they speak? And then basically view your life moving forward through the lens of that person.
Okay.
And that will then tap back into that chain of changing reality that we explained, which will then materialize reality. But that is also very high level stuff. Fundamentally, you just need to wake up every day and think, how can I get one step closer to that? And not beat yourself up if you don't progress that day. Just do what's in your capability, do what's possible, and be honest with yourself. Are you taking 100% responsibility? Are there some limiting beliefs holding you back? If those limiting beliefs are there, it's your responsibility to remove them. No one's going to remove them for you.
Yeah. Amazing, bro.
And then, just start taking the steps, man. That's pretty much all it is. Don't be afraid to fail. When you fail, it's just a feedback loop. It's positive to fail. as long as you're learning from those lessons. And I think a lot of people actually have a lot of situations in their life where something goes wrong and they don't take the time to actually reflect on why it went wrong.
Yeah.
And that's almost more negative. It is more negative to not reflect on it, because then you're just disregarding it instantly as, you know, that was a failure, let's move on. Rather sit with it and identify what happened, what did I learn, how can I apply this to my life moving forward, and then boom, you've taken that whole situation and you've actually turned it into a positive because you have actionable steps and information to walk forward with, you know.
Yeah. Amazing.
So yeah, I hope that makes sense, and I hope people can take actionable steps with that.
Yeah, I think we've taken a lot of meat off the bones, which is amazing.
Yeah, very fundamental stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Not specific money making things or anything of that nature, but this stuff's important. It's the first step.
Foundational.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, bro. For anyone who wants to like reach out to you or get a hold of you, or you know, maybe I don't know what you are offering on your end from your side, on your pages or whatever. But if people want to get a hold of you on the socials, do you want to maybe let them know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not really offering anything at the moment. I have nothing to sell, no course or anything like that. I make money with my businesses. But if you do want to reach out, speak to me on Instagram. It's Liam Bradshaw, LiamBradshw, no A on the shore for the Instagram handle, and then it's Liam Bradshaw1 on YouTube. If you want to check out my Twitter as well, I believe it's just Liam Bradshaw. If you search it up, it will come up. So yeah, Dub, appreciate the chat, man. Me and this guy always speak like this anyway, unless I'm very busy. Oftentimes I'm busy and I've got to do some work while he cuts my hair, which is the luxury also of having him come to my place.
Yeah.
So if you do want to elevate your experience, one of the easiest ways to do it is to get the barber to come to your place, especially a man like Dub. Again, just another ways to tap into the frequency of being abundant. Pay a little bit extra, but get a better experience. So yeah,
thank you, bro.
Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for the platform.
I appreciate you, bro. Much love.
Much love.
All right, that's a wrap for the episode with Liam Bradshaw. This is Cuts and Conversations. I'll add his social media in the description. Please like, please follow, please subscribe, please comment what you think about some of the information that was given in the episode.
People are missing out, bro, if they don't subscribe to this stuff. Yeah, this was just the first of many, you know.
This is golden.
Stuff can change your life.
So yeah, thank you, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Cheers.
I thought you were gonna stab me with that thing, bro.
Nah.
What if God did it? What if I had never been blessed beyond limits? Everyone was right and I wasn't able to get it. Started this journey and off the going missing, I wasn't able to finish. What if KB the rapper was lazy? What if Liam Bradshaw could never have paid me? What if Steph never started a business? Would I still be banking on somebody's maybes like